June 1st. And this is CBC News. I'm Joe Cummings. The BC Supreme Court opens a week-long hearing today into a case involving hundreds of former and current female members of the RCMP. The case alleges systemic gender discrimination and harassment within the force dating back decades. The lawyers are looking for a certification of a class action lawsuit. The Federal Public Safety Department won't directly comment on the case, but will say that the government is taking issues of discrimination and sexual harassment.
News on this Monday morning,
After a 2-week break,
Monday, June 1st, CBC News update.
Duffy is facing 31 counts of fraud, breach of trust, and bribery related mainly to his Senate expense claims. The trial resumes as later this week. The Auditor General is expected to release a report into the expense claims of every senator. Auditor General Michael Ferguson has already said he'll be referring at least 10 cases to the RCMP. The mayor who once promised to wipe out corruption in the city of Montreal appears in court this morning. Michael Applebaum was in office just 6 months before he was charged with fraud in 2012. Here's the CBC's Justin Hayward.
Michael Applebaum. Councillor Michael Applebaum was chosen as interim Montreal mayor in 2012 after his predecessor had been named as Quebec's Charbonneau corruption inquiry. The fresh-faced new mayor promised change at City Hall. Applebaum promised to recoup everything corruption had stolen from Montreal, but it wasn't the last.
I am resigning as mayor of Montreal.
Applebaum was arrested 2 years ago, swept up in the corruption raid. In his last news conference, he maintained his innocence.
I want to be clear that I have never taken a penny from anybody. I would like to tell Montrealers that I love them.
Before joining municipal politics, Applebaum was a real estate agent. He returned to that work following the trial. Later today, his preliminary hearing begins. CBC News, Montreal.
Authorities in Bangladesh have laid 41 murder charges in the collapse of a garment factory 2 years ago. More than 1,100 people were killed in the collapse. The Loblaws brand Joe Fresh was one of many Western clothing designers who had merchandise being made in the facility. Among those charges, the owner of the building and more than a dozen government officials. It turns out much of Canada's protected coastline areas may not be as protected as you'd think. CBC's Susan Lem explains.
Canada has promised to protect 10% of its ocean coastline by 2020. So far, only 1% has been declared a marine protected area. Sabina Jessen is the National Director of the Oceans Program for the environmental group, the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society. She did a bit of research and discovered that, in fact, only 0.1% of those marine spaces are closed to all harmful activities. That's because things like commercial fishing and oil and gas activity are still allowed. Jessen says she was also surprised how complicated it was to find out what is allowed in each marine protected area. Fisheries Minister Gail Taylor is in charge of the marine protected areas. In a recent speech in Vancouver, she said that beyond the 8 areas already set aside, there are 8 more on the way. Jessen would like to see more of the ocean set aside, as long as those areas truly are protected from harmful activities. Susan Lem, CBC News, Ottawa.
China is finally joining the fight against smoking. As of today, no smoking signs are going up in every public building in Beijing. That includes offices, shopping malls, schools, and airports. This is a nationwide campaign, but it's starting in the capital city. China has one of the world's highest smoking rates. Close to half of the adult Chinese population are full-time smokers. And that is the CBC News to this hour. We broadcast live and podcast on our website, CBC News.